This is TWiT.
Talking about AI, a story in Bloomberg saying Amazon's AI-based Alexa is stuck in the lab and won't be revealed. They had hoped to show it when they did their Kindle reveal last week, but according to Bloomberg, it's not ready. The beta version they had hoped to ship this year won't be out at best until next year. Is that good news or bad news? Nicholas, do your real people use these voice assistants?
Yeah. I was just going to say, when I was at Vice several years ago, we did a story on one of the Echoes or the Alexa. How to set up skills, how to make your own skill. It was like the top rated story of the day. So I was like blown away at the demand for information about Alexa back then. That was 2016 or 17. I feel like it's a little bit of a fumble, to be honest. Like when they first came out in 2014, I remember initially being like, is this even a real device? But they seem to like plateau. Like we have a bunch in the house. We use them literally just to like turn on lights and maybe set timers every now and then.
Yeah, they're glorified kitchen timers for most people.
Yeah, so I feel like, as like future looking as they were 2014 when the first one came out, they very quickly kind of plateaued as like, okay, they do this. And so it must be very frustrating if you're Amazon, hey, we developed this, this tech, and now ChatGPT and so forth are kind of eating our lunch. How did that happen? I can imagine it's very frustrating for them.
Could I ask a follow-up? Oh, sorry.
Yeah, please.
Well, so on the one hand, in some ways, Amazon has had a full suite of AI tools that they themselves use to help build their own products and services that are very, very impressive. But on the consumer-facing side of things, why do you think? I don't know. I guess I'm curious, Nicholas. Why do you think consumers were they freaked out by it? Is there a brand image problem, or is it just like why? Because the devices are really cheap, and there was a time a couple of years ago when Microsoft was feeling very, very far behind the eight ball on this one and was trying to release a sub $50 product of their own to market that was consumer facing.
Cortana.
So just what do you think?
Amazon says there's 500 billion Alexa enabled devices in the world. That's just not Echoes though. That's toothbrushes and toasters and microwave ovens. But that's a lot, 500 million.
I mean, a ton of hotels bought Alexa devices. So there are lots of rooms. So that's that, and I think there's a lot of them in China, right? Aren't there tons of Marriott properties that have? I could be wrong on this. Yeah. So some of those devices are like hotels, but just curious, like, why do you think people didn't buy them?
Yeah, I don't know. My sort of recollection is like these sort of voice assistants, whether it's Alexa, we're saying, and I'm sorry to the folks that just triggered it. All these little services. Like I apologize. So all these services, we all know the names. It's a tech that, it feels like tech was kind of struggling before AI kind of hit maybe 2 years ago when ChatGPT really blew up. I feel like tech was searching for like the next, it was VR, it was crypto, it was these digital voice assistants. It were kind of like moving from like thing to thing for the next big thing after social media, after mobile. I just think these things are limited in what they can do. How many times are you going to ask for a timer during the day? How many times are you going to ask for the weather in Albuquerque or whatever? It's like, it's a neat toy, but like, it's not going to like transform my life in the way that the iPhone did, for better or worse, back in the day. So they're useful tools, but like useful in the same way that like an alarm clock is useful. It's like it works, and okay, great.
When somebody asked me some years ago, probably 10 years ago now, or maybe less, but what new technology I was excited about? I get that question on a regular basis, and at the time, I said, I think voice is going to be the next new interface. I think a lot of us thought that the new interface for computing would be voice. For some reason, it's proven very disappointing to people. It might possibly be, I know what you're asking, Amy, are people paranoid about having a microphone in their homes? And some people are, for sure. I talk to people all the time who say, I would never have an Alexa or a Google Assistant or a Siri in my house listening to me. But I think for the most part, people just didn't find them that useful. Shoshana, do you have a voice assistant listening to you?
I do not. It freaks me out when they like respond back. I do have a I don't want to say its name, enabled iPad, or not iPad, like tablet, so I can watch TV on my 40-degree inclined treadmill, which will not allow me to watch other stuff on it. So I have that.
Wait a minute, 40-degree up or down?
Up, and then 6-degree down.
Whoa.
It's so
That's
good.
very steep.
I love it. It's because I train for the mountains, so it's like perfect. So I have the little tablet on it because it limits what you can do. But what people underestimate is the Shabbat observing constituency who could totally use Alexa, and no one's showing Orthodox Jews how to use it for Shabbat. A few years ago,
would it be compliant? You could use it because you're not touching a switch.
So, like, I think people would be cool with the timer aspect, like how it can connect to things for timers. I use it to change channels on the TV automatically. I said it before Shabbat.
I should explain for some time, I was your Shabbos goy.
Yeah,
and,
exactly. And now I have a robot doing it, which is great.
Oh, like, really?
For more traditional Jews, like, I think they'd be chill with like having a heater on or like having lights go on and
Could
off.
I say a word, turn on the light, and that would be okay? That would be compliant?
No, you'd have to set it before, but setting it before is still like better than not having it at all.
Hey, a word, turn on the light at sunrise tomorrow or sunset tomorrow.
Right, yeah. Exactly, stuff like that. For me,
and then it does it automatically. That lets you off the hook, huh?
Yeah, I guess you could set it up for ovens and for, I'm just thinking about like,
I have a Shabbat compatible oven that connects to the Wi-Fi. I don't know how it would work, but I guess it would work kind of like that, right?
I just tape down the light in my fridge and never untape it because I don't really care if I have a light in my fridge. But like, if I did care, then I would like want a little device like doing that for Shabbat and stuff.
So just to explain, if you're Orthodox, opening the refrigerator has a little switch that turns on a light. And on Sabbath, that would be inappropriate, right? You're not supposed to do that.
Right, exactly. We can't work. So it's like you can't turn on and off lights.
Can't do any
basically work stuff that creates light or heat. So candles or the oven or even stuff that doesn't have light. If it creates heat in another way or if it's electric, we basically don't do it. But Amazon Alexa, darn it, I can do it. Sorry, I hope it doesn't make the noise. But,
it's okay. It's okay.
Yeah, no,
we like it. We like.
I know it bothers me because I have an employee by that same name, and it like really stresses me out when I hear it in the background. I need to change the name. But like, why is no one marketing to Orthodox Jews? Like, that's a huge.
You should. Do you know who Mordechai Lightstone is?
Yes, I love him.
He's an old friend. My assumption is like he would be on top of all of this.
Right? Why isn't he doing? No, I'm kidding. It's not his job.
He's a
why isn't he?
It kind of is his job.
And also for like other people with disabilities who like could benefit from this kind of stuff. Like, I mean, the automation is amazing. I kept switching back and forth between King of the Hill and Alfred Hitchcock Presents on Shabbat without having to press a button. And that's like life changing for me. So I don't have to sit through late Simpsons, which I hate watching. It's like perfect.
No one anticipated these problems,
right?
Back in the days of the Old Testament, they hadn't really, or whatever, the Torah, they hadn't really.
So again, regulations don't work in the work. Like it just doesn't work in the era of technology. Like the Torah, the whole thing, the Bible, it's a bunch of regulations. Doesn't work.
Yeah, I love it.
There's no R Street for the Bible, though. I don't think.
No, I do kind of nerd out that way on Torah, though. Like I'll go like full like constitutional on Torah, but we can have original intent because God's intent matters. But then I'm like, okay, I'll violate.
But who knows exactly what God's intent was, right?
Exactly.
There's a lot of interpretation. For instance, I understand the electricity on and off. It isn't. I mean, obviously there wasn't electricity in the time of the Torah, but it's creating and destroying, right? So,
but when it first started, when electricity was first introduced, most Jews thought it was like chill, that was fine because it's like different. And then
some rabbi came along and said, "No, you can't do that."
I'm kind of with that rabbi, but I'm not always with the rabbis. I challenge the rabbis, and they don't always like it because they're like, "Shoshana, can you just like go along to get along every now and then?" And I'm like, "No, must understand everything like to its core."
It's fascinating to me. But,
I will jump in, Leo, if I could very briefly. Ashley, as you meant Ashley, she just texted me and she says, as a disabled military veteran, she does find Alexa quite helpful around the house to turn on light. She sometimes has back issues. And we got light switches in weird spots. So it's like, and I have them, of course, because I'm a nerd, I have them hooked up to these services, and she finds it very useful in those, why these things haven't really grown beyond that level that we're kind of talking about. I don't know, but she literally just texted me a second ago and said she loves it and it is very helpful for her.
My elderly mom, same thing, loves it for that reason. Yeah.
I think some of it is use cases. I think the other thing is at the beginning, you really had to speak clearly. Otherwise, the systems didn't understand you. My dad's got Parkinson's. He struggles. I would love to fill the place where he lives with voice assistants. But honestly, I think we've tried, and I think he's probably too intimidated to use them, no matter how many times we try. Yeah. But it's finding use cases, man.
I have one of each in every room of my house.
That seems like a lot, Leo.
It seems like overkill. It's part of being a tech guy.
It's Leo, do you use them for different things, or are they all to kind of catch all?
I always think I'm going to use them for home automation. I have this fantasy that I'm going to say, "Good morning, A word," and she's going to open the curtains and start the coffee and play my news updates, but I never get around to doing all that.
We got smart thermostats over the summer, and we'd still just push the button on the thermostat itself. It's like, we could use, so it's
Yes, exactly. I don't know what it is about humans. I think we feel like light switches are fine. You flip it one way, it goes on. You flip it another way, it goes off. What do you need anything else for? Anyway, Amazon's struggling with this, of course, because they're losing billions of dollars a year on the A word, even though they're selling them like crazy. They had in 2016 1,000 employees and basically unlimited resources. But once Amazon realized people were just they weren't buying stuff, they were just using them, for timers and things. And it was costing them a lot of money. So adding intelligence, maybe that's the next way to get people to use these things. Here's a chart from Bloomberg about Amazon's growth with Echo. They had one product in 2014. By 2019, they had 22 Echo-enabled products. It went up and down, but as of last year, there were 18 different products, including eyeglasses that had Amazon Echo built in. And yet, nobody really cares a whole lot about it. Now, Panos Panay left Microsoft to go work for this division, and it's thought maybe he might bring some excitement to it. I don't know. It really feels like this was an opportunity missed. Really does.
I will say I'm thinking now. I feel like the Amazon has also gotten a little chattier over the years. Like it'll just do a notification. It'll say, "Oh, a book from your favorite author is on sale."
I hate that. Don't you hate that?
Oh, you're running low on paper towels.
It's an ad.
Want more? Yeah, it's literally an ad. So I'm like, I'll just leave it because it doesn't bother me that. But certainly 10 years ago, I would have been like, this is an outrage. But yeah, you could just feel them trying to squeeze more revenue out of the fact that everyone owns one of these things and they just use them to turn on the lights.
Would it change your point of view and others about the Echo if it had ChatGPT in it? That's what they're hoping, I guess.
So I think that would be the killer app at this point, because the Google devices also are really, I think, underperform. Anything that is answer related, you wind up with a string of hyperlinks that isn't super useful. And
Siri's even worse. She says, "Well, here's what I found on the web about that."
Right. So I think once, I don't know if it's a ChatGPT as much as it is, could be Claude, it could be whatever else.
Well, yeah. In fact, it's probably not ChatGPT. I misspoke. Amazon has its own models, of course. Yep. And according to Bloomberg, a former AI engineer says the Echo teams have lately been leaning on models from Mistral and Anthropic. Mm-hmm. Amazon has invested $4 billion into Anthropic. Amazon says, Bloomberg writes, that no single model works best for every use case, and its teams take advantage of multiple LLMs through AWS.
Yeah. So I would give it, I bet you once some of these tools make their way into devices, I think you'll start to see like a hockey stick, 40% incline explosion.
We've been waiting for that. Yeah. You agree, Shoshana? You think a hockey stick explosion once you get some nice AI in your Echo?
I don't know, man. I could,
it'd be somebody to talk to.
It would be nice. Yeah, just talking on the treadmill. No, I don't want to talk on the treadmill. It's like I'm already out of breath, like walking up that freaking incline. But they did just add Amazon Video and Netflix. When they add Hulu, I can like take the tablet and put it off the treadmill. Right now, it's just like the tablet on top of the screen.
Because you need to touch it. You have to touch it. Yeah.
Yeah, it feels kind of stupid.
There was a Fire TV Cube that you could talk to, and it was connected to all the devices, and you could say, hey, turn on the Niners game, and it would know which devices to turn on and all that, which channel to go to, and it would just do it all. It was really great. I don't know why I stopped using it. It's so strange. You think these things seem like they would be so great, and then they just, I don't know, maybe, I don't know.
Well, it takes a long time for us to develop new technology patterns.
That's probably it, huh?
And I think at this point, everything is new and novel because we are inundated continuously with things that feel like they've just happened or they've just launched. So unhooking from here, I can give you a great example. I was doing some work with Dell, and they sent me a brand new laptop, and I'm trying to work.
It's a Copilot laptop.
So I'm just trying to hit Control C.
Yeah.
And every time I go to, my hand has muscle memory for where that control button is. Mm-hmm. And instead I'm hitting some AI button that is completely...
It's the Copilot button. Mm-hmm.
Right. So, if I were to
How
go back
annoying
in time,
is that, right?
So...
this is Clippy. Isn't this Clippy 2.0?
The laptop is good. It's the complaint. It's a very good laptop.
Do you use Copilot?
I do not.
No. So I rest my case. It's another little.
I use Apple OS. So I am.
We can talk about Apple Intelligence because that's coming out.
Yeah.
Now
I use Windows occasionally to stay on top of things, and but the point was like, it's a big ask of me to develop a new habit to not put my finger in that spot. That's what I'm talking about. It seems very simple.
I agree with you.
But we're talking about converting many people into many new habits, given the breadth of technology that's out there. And I think that's just going to take a little bit more time.
Right. Hey, thank you for watching this little snippet from our big show, the News Roundtable This Week in Tech. I'm Leo Laporte. Each week we cover the week's tech news, in-depth analysis, but it's also fun and engaging. You'll find it at TWiT.tv along with all of our shows. And if you want more, just hit the subscribe button, and we'll be sure to bring you a lot more great content. Thanks for listening.